People tend to start coming out of the woodworks for these things because their focus is on that shiny thing, that material thing. That's the stuff that just blocks us from Christ, and we got to start thinking better about that. Trust me, when I made a conscious decision to follow Christ and to follow a certain path, my life changed dramatically. My life changed. There are things that I've told you this before. When we left our other house, and I do mean leave. I'm not one where I mince my words and I don't hide certain facts. I do mean leave. It got really rough. Finances were dwindled, and I had to make a decision. We can't live in this house anymore. So guess what? I did the irresponsible thing, but again, not really understanding things. I did the irresponsible thing and said, I'm going to leave the keys right here in this cabinet, packed all my stuff up, and we hit the road. They'll come and get it. And they did. But I will tell you this, the Lord has restored everything that I had before and then some now.
Amen.
That's the trust and belief that I had and I should have had back then. But now I'm at a state where what I had before, the house I had before, it was nice and it was what I needed. It was great. It kept shelter over us. But what I recognized when I made it here was that the Lord had something more and better in store for me.
Amen.
I don't look back. I talk about things in the past because I don't, as I say, I consider us family. This is what the Lord lays on me to do, is to help instruct you to say, you know what? There's a better way. So why wouldn't I tell you these stories of my past? I don't like to call them failures. I like to call them my past kind of obstacles that I overcame with God's help, with God behind me. And I say I, there's not just an I. I say I and God, but there's also my wife. She's been a trooper throughout everything here, and her faith has gotten even more stronger because of that. I say this to you because we have to start being responsible spouses and significant others to people and start talking about these things with each other. But when you do it, come out of love, not accusatory and saying, oh, you see what you did over here? You started spending this, and this. When you start talking to each other, you start talking to each other out of love, and you say, you know what? Because I love our relationship so much, and because I love God, I want to introduce God into this part of our lives right now so we can start to turn around whatever is going on in that situation. We got to get better at that. We got to stop saying, okay, well, it's just one of those things where I'm just going to keep it to myself, or I'm going to let it boil in and boil inside until all of a sudden it just boils over, and now I'm just upset because we don't hear each other when we're like that. You can never hear each other when you're like that. So take a step back and start thinking, let's start preparing. Come out of a place of love when we start talking about our finances. Come out of a place of love when we say, you know, let's do better. Let's follow the path of what God has instructed us. There's several messages on how to handle our finances, but let's start getting prepared and reading up on that, and then realizing, okay, what else is out there to cause us harm in our finances? What's not meant for us to have? We got to start recognizing that some things are not meant for us to have. Maybe not at that moment. I'm not saying that you can't have it at some point, but maybe not at that moment. We've got to start getting better at that. And start recognizing that, well, just because so-and-so has it over here doesn't mean that I need it right now in my life. It'll come later. I used to think I wanted a boat several years ago, and the funny thing is, everyone that talks about a boat says that there's two times that you will enjoy it. The day you buy it and the day you sell it. I never understood that because I still don't have that boat, but obviously it was not meant for me to have right now. Maybe it won't ever be for me to have right at all. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, it's not my focus anymore. There are more important things in that boat. It seemed cool to go out on the water and just kind of, you know, fish. I love to fish. It seemed like that'd be a nice, cool thing to do. But then, I guess that's what the Lord has been telling me through so many people. Every time I talk about it, they tell me, when you sell it, when you buy it, and when you sell it. Those are the days that you're going to be the most happiest with that boat. I don't know. Haven't had one yet. But it's not on my mind. It's not as important anymore. So I say when you start to speak things, there's power in the tongue, and I do believe as I start to close here, there is power in the tongue. Understand that there's power in the tongue, there's life and death in the tongue. And when I say life or death, I mean life or death in the sense that it can either continue on and live, or you can kill, and that means your finances too. Sometimes we got to stop thinking, oh, all I have, this is all I have today. I don't know what I'm going to do. Woe is me. Start thinking, oh, thank God this is what I have right now, and thank God that I have what I need and I can continue on. That's what we need to start doing. Start speaking that more into your lives. When your paycheck comes, even before your paycheck comes, lay your hands on and say, Lord, thank you for what you have given me and just enabled my body to be able to make it. Be thankful for that. If there's another job that you're seeking, pray over your job. Lay hands over that, whatever job opening is there, if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you're seeking. If you recognize that, oh, okay, I need to do something else to better myself, and I might need to go to a class or take a class so I can do that, pray over that class before it gets started. Have the Lord direct your path. Don't do it on your own. And by God, just please, when you're doing certain things, seek wisdom when you're doing it. Not within inside yourself. If that's not your skill set, if that's not what you can do, then go and look and tap into somebody else that can help guide you. Not just anybody, but someone that is a God-fearing person and someone that will trust, that you can trust to help you through some things. Not one that's going to go out there and say, well, you know what, sister so-and-so and brother so-and-so is going through this. Let me tell you what's going on in their lives. Not those people. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the folks that can keep a secret. Just keep a secret. Talk to you out of love. Not try to, say how high and mighty they are and talk to you about what they're going to, what they've done for you. It's not the people that we're talking about. I'm talking about your Christian brothers and sisters that truly care about you, that really want you to succeed in life. When I get up here and speak, I tell you, I treat you as I do family. I love you as family. I don't mean any harm for you, and I would never wish anything to come to you. So if God gave us that and had enough caring and love out of him to just write this. People say, oh, man wrote that. No, God wrote that utilizing man to write these things. This is not something that is that I take lightly at all. 1,600 years of information from God. Right there, one book. And I know that there's just more to come after that once I go and speak with him. So, church, I just tell you, and family, I just tell you just to pray over your finances. Talk to one another about your finances. Get God involved in your finances. Stop thinking that you're doing it all alone, because you're not. You're not. You haven't been through it on your own. You're not the only ones to go through certain things, but you're not. But stop the generational misuse also. Let's start informing our children and keeping them off the path also. That's how you start to leave those legacies. Lord says leave a inheritance. It's a good thing when someone leaves an inheritance. Now, Lord did not say exactly what is that inheritance. Sometimes to me, inheritance means knowledge. Knowledge. We got to stop thinking about things in the monetary sense all the time. Because when you do that, you focus on that, that's where your heart is, but then you leave out all of the other things, the wisdom, the knowledge that goes behind it, and that's how you get out of the financial trap, and that's how your kids get out of the financial trap that's there. I said that I wasn't led, I had not been led to speak on finances before, but this is the first time, and I can go on, but I'm going to stop right now and say, you know what, let's just pray over this. Let's just pray that this year just changes for you, whatever it is that you're going through. I'm going to ask Brother Louis to come up, and we're going to honor our Lord in a different way here, just by in remembrance of him. But I think that this is a time where when we do these things, we need to recognize everything that the Lord has done for us and every bit of information that the Lord has given us in order for us to succeed in this earthly world. It's going to pass, and everything that we accumulate will pass, but let's leave that inheritance for our children and our children's children, the inheritance of wisdom, and let them get out of these financial traps that, unfortunately, the folks that don't follow what the Lord says. I told you, 7 years, I told you, don't charge interest to the poor. Boy, I tell you, a lot of folks got rich over that, and it truly keeps these things going, but we've got to stop it. And I truly believe that in one place that we can stop it is, one, get closer to God, and start thinking about each other in more of a godly sense and not a earthly sense. Amen?
Amen.
That's all I got for you today.
Thank you.
That's all I got. I asked Brother Louis to